Good morning, Cardinals. I'm so glad you're able to join me today on our very last lesson in our skills unit for this year in kindergarten. You've done such a great job with all of your lessons inside the classroom and with this new distance learning, and I am just so proud of you. So for the last time this year, our learning targets are: I can read tricky words, I can read words with Magic E, I can ask and answer questions about a text. Let's start off, love bugs, by going over our tricky words and our letter sounds. Ready? I'll show you the letter sound. You tell me the sound. Ready, go. A, E, I, ch, or, v, ng, qua. Tricky words. Ready, go. He, she, we, be, me, they, their, my, when, word, why, to, where, no, I, what, so, which, once, said, says, are, were, here, there, and a new tricky word today. We've seen this one before. This is by. We might look at this and think it's by, but this is a tricky word, just like my. Remember, my says my. by says by, like by the bay. Now let's do our very best reading as we play Miss McKay Says. Remember when we play this game of Miss McKay Says, you read the card and you do what Miss McKay says. I'm not going to tell you what the card says until after you've done the action. So if you were to read this card, you would read, act like a snake. And then you would act like a snake. Ready? Here's your next Miss McKay Says. Miss McKay says, add 5 plus 1. 6. That's right. 5 plus 1 is 6. Miss McKay says, act scared. Ooh. Miss McKay says, smile at me. I love seeing your beautiful smiles. Miss McKay says, oh, that's a tricky one. I got you. You can't really shake my hand right now, can you? Miss McKay says, is there someone else at home who can help you with this one? Stand in a line. Miss McKay says, This one's a little more tricky. This says glare. Glare at me. To glare at somebody means you look at them like you're really angry. Oh, you're so scary. Miss McKay says, act like a dog. Good job. Miss McKay says, act tired. Excellent job. Miss McKay says, wave at me. Hello. Great job playing our game of Miss McKay Says today. Now we're going to read a new story in our reader called The Plane Ride. Have you ever been in a plane? Today in our story, we're going to hear the word rent. To rent something means that you pay someone money to borrow something for a little bit. You don't get to keep it. You can rent a house. You can rent a car. In our story today, they rent a plane. We're also going to hear strip or a runway. It's a paved area that we drive our plane on. We drive the plane really fast before we can take off and it starts flying. It's also where we land the plane safely when we're finished flying. Let's listen to our story today, The Plane Ride, to figure out what Scott and Meg see when they're in the air on the plane ride. Ready? Scott's dad rents a plane. He asks Scott and Meg to ride with him in the plane. The kids smile and nod. The kids get in the plane. They click on their belts. Then their dad takes off. The plane picks up speed. By the time it gets to the end of the strip, it lifts up. The kids can see lots of things from the plane. That's Big Lake, says Scott. But it's not so big from up here, is it? It seems like it's just a frog pond. What's that? Meg asks. That's a truck, says Scott. A truck? Says Meg. But it's the size of a dot. Scott and Meg smile. It's fun to ride in a plane. Let's think about the story. Who rents the plane? Scott and Meg's dad. What do Scott and Meg see from the plane? That was our reason for reading, to figure out what they can see from the plane. I'm back on the page where they have the answers. Can you point to find the answer of what do they see from the plane? Yes, they see Big Lake and a truck. Excellent reading and going back into the text to find your answer. What does Scott think Big Lake looks like? Can you find the answer in the text? Just a frog pond. Did you point to here? I am so proud of you. Great reading and finding your evidence. You really are a super reading detective. Why does the lake seem so small? Because they're really high up. That's right. When you're really high away from something, it makes it look smaller. But it really isn't small. It's really big. That's why it's called Big Lake. What do you wonder? Do you have any things that you wonder about the story? Like, I wonder when Scott's dad learned to fly a plane? I wonder what else they saw. What do you wonder? Also, as good reading detectives, we remember that it's important for us to be able to ask questions about stories too. Remember our really good question words: who, what, when, where, why, and how. See if you can come up with some questions about our story, The Plane Ride. Maybe your parents or a friend or a brother or a sister can help you out and they can find the answers. Have fun being the teacher. Have a wonderful summer. I'm so proud of all of my super reading detectives. I love you, and I'll see you later. Goodbye, love bugs.